You're not as terrifying as a Reaper. But God, do I love your design. Well, in this case, the feather tool has not been needed. Everything is fine. I think it's time for us to return to HomeBase and thus prepare for our departure. And so my squid sharks are still roaming about, and the Chilistrid is nowhere to be seen. Just beautiful. And so these are our final moments inside of HomeBase. But you may be wondering, hey, what about that big room? Like the one all the way over here? What's the deal with that? Why did we build that? What's the entire idea behind it? Well, the entire idea behind it is that there's currently a peeper inside of it that does not belong. Sorry, friend, you're not supposed to be here. But yeah, there's still some stuff to do. So let me take you along with me and let me finish up this final room. It is done. The last building section of the base. And in order to properly set the mood, lights off. Everyone, I give you the Hall of Memories. A special little corner of our home base to commemorate our adventures on 4546B now that we're at the end of this one. At the time this video becomes available to you all, it's been around 2.5 years since we first marooned on 4546B, and ever since then, both in the original game and in this one, we've had quite some fantastic moments. Every single image you see here corresponds with one of the 104 episodes we've done on the Subnautica games, and to this day I am still amazed by how well received the first game was by you all, to the point where it has actually turned into our most popular Let's Play, and I can't thank you all enough for supporting me. I know it's cliché and all, but without you, this wouldn't have been the same. At the end of the day, I am just a dude with a furry mascot who makes Let's Plays for fun, but to have you all along for the ride makes it one of the things I truly enjoy in life. Hopefully I have managed to bring a smile to your face somewhere along the line, and although this adventure might have reached its end, we will always have the memories, and many different adventures to look forward to. But anyway, that is enough reminiscing for now. With all of that now behind us, the time has come. Now before we leave, there's one quick thing that I would like to do. You come along with me, we might still need a few batteries. Deconstruct. And same goes for you. Fabricator goes over there, battery charger goes over here. Perfect. So, with that done, close the hatch, and we switch things around. No more X compartment, but rather a T compartment, as we separate the base. Now you may be wondering why. Well, Volty,
Is it time?
initiate the Sea Monkey Protocol.
I'm on it. The Sea Monkey Protocol activated.
As you maybe remember from our first Subnautica Let's Play, I released a few creatures that we had in containment back into their natural habitat. But with the amount of creatures that we have this time around, that's a little bit more difficult. And I figured that we maybe could do something different. Volty has rigged our control room to flood the alien containment side of our base upon departure of this area, to give every creature the ability to roam freely and even leave through the hatches should they choose to. And meanwhile, our solar panels, bioreactor and nuclear reactor will supply power for as long as they require. Fred might have called them the raccoons of the sea, but the sea monkey's intelligence is not to be underestimated. So, with the help of those that we bred in containment through the use of the sea monkey protocol, we ensure the well-being of all inside our base, as they will take care of everyone. This is the best future I can give them, and so HomeBase will be a home for all. Our time on the planet might be over, but theirs is just beginning. Which brings us right back to Outpost Zero. Ah boy. Of course, it sounds like it's bad weather again. We'll just have to make do with it. Like, what would it be like without bad weather here? This is just perfect. And seeing how we're here as well, you will take 4 slots. I could use a little bit of a drink and some water. There we go. And I think I need a little bit more space. Good enough. Good enough for me. And 1, 2, 3. That is all we need. Because we have to make some amends for the stuff that we destroyed. Not entirely sure where it was built, but hey. We can make a snowman. And I would like to do so. Because of course we don't need that rebreather anymore. As if nothing ever happened. Anyway, let's get inside quickly before the weather starts to go too bad again. Because it always goes bad. Alan, wait for me. It really feels weird to think that this is the end. Like, we have come so far. And I see movement. Alan hard at work.
Are you preparing to leave, Alan?
Yes. There is much to do.
I imagined as much. Okay, that is awesome. And I love that blinking of Alan. Like, oh my god. And I can't scan this thing, really. Nothing at all. Like, yeah. Let's not get too close before it rips an arm off or something. So this is it, huh?
Do you still wish to leave with me? Beyond this teleporter, there is no turning back.
Are you kidding? I can't pass up a chance to see where architects come from. Besides, I don't have another ride.
I do not know what we will find there. The others may be sick or angry, if they live at all.
Or you could find peace. Family.
I hope you are right. Please complete any business you still have on this planet. Join me on the other side when you are ready to leave.
Oh, I am ready, Alan. I am ready. And although I have got no clue what we will find, like, it's been at least 1,000 years. Everything will be fine. Okay, question. We're not on your home planet already, right? Like, I still see snow. Yeah, we're most definitely still on 4546B.
Robin, you're just in time. The phase gate is opening.
You've been hiding a phase gate here this whole time.
Whoa.
Only for the last millennium. It will lead us home.
Whoa.
No wonder you hid yourself from Altera.
It was imperative to keep the homeworld safe, in hopes that the others survived.
That thing is massive. When I just saw the tip, I was like, oh my god. Wow.
Will you help me prepare the ship? The energy masts must be moved into place.
Whoa.
Well,
I'm
this
sorry?
is different.
What? Thank you for trusting me with your arms. Or 33% of your arms. I need to move the masts into place. Okay, this is weird. How exactly do I do this, Alan? Like, I'm not sure if you know. You may have been in my brain, but I have not been inside of your body. Dear God. That is epic. That is absolutely epic. Okay, so energy mast, align pillar. Okay, I hope we know what we're doing. I hope we know what we're doing with this. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if we're the right person, but we have a lot still to learn. Okay, it went smooth enough. We did not crush ourselves. It could have ended more badly. Yeah, let's just get this over with before I destroy something. Like, this honestly seems like a very bad idea to let me do this kind of stuff.
Whoa.
This is architect's material.
Very good. Return to me and I will initiate ship assembly.
This is architect material. It doesn't break that easily. It's been out there in the cold. Me dropping it accidentally couldn't have destroyed it, so... Yep, everything is fine. Okay, so... What did you say? Assemble what? Return arms.
Thank you. The masts are in place. The energy field is ready. There is no time to lose.
Yeah. You've got easy talking in regards to no time to lose if you can blink around like that. Whoa. Okay. What? I love your tech.
Join me, Robin.
Okay. So we enter the ship, we go through the phase gate, we get stuck on a ledge. Oh boy. Well, we've got ourselves a ticket to not home.
I apologize. The levitator was calibrated for heavier bodies.
I'll take that as a compliment.
But as you can see, I have been fully integrated with the ship.
Yeah.
Is this permanent?
Nothing is permanent. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, you could say that. Ready to leave the past behind.
Good. Please brace yourself, and then we will depart.
Yeah, okay, this is pretty epic. Oh, I love this. This is cool. Brace for launch. Oh boy. Well, I hope you're ready, Alan. Let's do this.
Launching in 3, 2, 1.
When we started this journey, this was not how I expected it to end. At all. Okay, this is seriously epic. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, Alan, small question. Do you have anything that could be classified as a loose
What will
panel?
we find when we get there?
If I am the last of my kind, I will experience the sorrow of 10,000 souls dimming.
If that happens, I'll be there for you. And I'll help any way I can. Oh, the Architect homeworld.
And if they survived?
With you, I am ready to face whatever awaits.
Oh boy. Subnautica Below Zero. I'm not sure how long this final thoughts section is going to take me, for I've got a fair few thoughts and comparisons to make, which might not all be positive, so let me start off with the most important thing. Did I enjoy this game? Absolutely. I love the original Subnautica, so it was great to sort of re-experience the journey in this brand new section of the world where things felt both familiar and alien. And it was a blast to let myself be immersed into the story again. I had fun, so please keep that in mind as I continue here. But I do apologize if I end up being too harsh and negative, or if I get things wrong here, but I expected more from this game in several different aspects. This was not a true Subnautica 2.0, and in some parts it even feels like a downgrade compared to the first game, surprisingly enough. So, where do we begin? I at least want to say that I love the improvements to the visuals of the environments. Things looked quite a bit more detailed and impressive, with much more happening on screen, and it shows that a lot more care has gone into some of the biomes. If we compare the land-based sections of Below Zero to those of the first game, for example, basically a difference of night and day in regards to the designs. Much more natural feeling layouts, and overall many areas just looked better. Overall. Or if you take a look at the areas of the eye jellies in the west, or even the area to the far east, the seafloor just looks empty except for sand and a few rocks. Now, I've obviously never been a fan of the dunes from the first game, mainly because of the leviathans and limited vision, but some sections just felt lacking, like more could have been done to make them more distinctive and interesting. Things felt more sparse than they had to in a lot of places, and when compared to the areas which do look good, the difference is big. Perhaps too big. Now, level design wise, I'm also not too sure if I like things as much, and this is for multiple reasons. First and foremost, things just felt cramped in a lot of sections. Claustrophobic. The twisty bridges which we built our base on top of looked brilliant, but they were just deep trenches that didn't allow for too much freedom. The same goes for a fair few other areas where things were only going down without much further paths to take and explore. In general, there's a lot of verticality and similar-ish looking areas, but few of them truly felt pleasing to me. Whereas in the first game I pretty quickly found a good area to build a proper base, it took me a much longer time to find somewhere suitable in this one. I just prefer the look of the safe shallows and the red flora-covered dunes of the early sections of the first game, and even now, with knowledge of the area south of Delta Island, like all the sunken lily pads, I still think that where we built our base was actually the best place for me. And returning to that feeling of crampedness, even the deeper areas didn't truly feel fitting for a big base. It is possible, and I'm sure that people will have ended up making some pretty amazing bases there, but I don't know. I never truly got the feel that I wanted to or could build a base similar to the one that we made near the Ghost Leviathan egg. I'm not sure what the biome count is for both games, but I found some of the ones from the original to be a bit more distinctive. More interesting points of interest, like that Ghost Leviathan egg, or the Lost River with the gargantuan Leviathan skeleton, the Blood Kelp Zone with its bass-heavy music that instilled a sense of fear, and the area with all the blue balloons, or the Mushroom Forest, and also the much larger Architect bases, cause I get that this area of 4546B was like a smaller research outpost for the Architects, but every single base they had here was basically just a single room, and the random artifacts were just random. Now, this game had a few cool areas as well, like the purple fence biome, those massive ice spires with the ice worms, and the big lily pads and the remains on the seafloor. Cotton Valley too, and obviously the crystal areas. Even though there were two of them right after one another with only a different crystal structure and color, but a part of me feels like the original Subnautica just was a bit more creative with its biomes. Now, this obviously could be a case of my memory playing tricks on me, since it has been 2 years since we played the original Subnautica, so perhaps I'm recalling things as better than they actually were. But at least in regards to interesting places where one could make a proper base, I feel like the first game was better. Now, one thing I do know is that the map of Below Zero also feels a fair bit smaller than that of the first game if we purely look at the distances and depths traveled. We don't go as far or deep as we went in the original, and I'm not sure if it's my imagination, but movement speed feels slowed down in general. Not just the speed of the Sea Truck compared to the Seamoth, but even normally using the Sea Glide. I mean, even the Ultra Glide fins from the first game weren't available, so normal swimming was just so much slower. And I get it, there was less pop-in of environmental pieces because of this, for that was a decent issue apparently in the first game, but things just felt slower than they had to be, to the point where I couldn't even outrun all the creatures. Also, I previously used the Seamoth to sometimes jump out of the water like a dolphin, to get a glimpse of where the Aurora and the two islands were, but the Sea Truck with no modules just doesn't have that same capability. And even if you are capable of reaching the surface, most of the time your vision is just taken away by constant fog, hail or snow. I get that 4546B can have a serious case of bad weather, which was also the reason why the Torgal family got forced to abandon their island base in the first game, but although the weather can be cool, it was just too much, to the point where it actually turned into a joke. Almost no clear weather, and thus vision was almost always obstructed to a certain degree. One couldn't even properly make use of Delta Island as a point of reference, like how one could see the crashed Aurora and know precisely where they were. Things just felt different, and difference is also best shown in how this game tackled the story. Whereas before it was a lot more vague and mostly told through environmental storytelling and PDA entries, and thus rewarded those curious enough to search for answers, things now were obviously a bit more front and center, with our main character Robin being voiced and all that. The beginning of the story was interesting, with the premise of trying to figure out what really happened to Sam, and thus to find out if Altera was lying and hiding something from us. Like Sam perhaps still being alive, even if that would have been a bit cliché, but they kinda went overboard with the instant exposition. I mean, once we got to the live pod, there were like, how many? 6 different voiced PDA entries? And I know, one can let them play in the background while you start exploring and collect resources, but then you're barely paying attention to the story. The pacing there just felt off, with also the instant reveal about the frozen Leviathan and it being infected with Kara. Sure, it got me interested in what was going on, but this was just such a massive departure from the first game. There you crash landed and tried to survive. You tried to find all the survivors and would learn about one of the islands being there. Then you'd get that message about the sunbeam actually coming to the planet to pick you up, only to have that reveal that they were doomed upon arrival. And then I'm not even mentioning about the Aurora blowing up. Like, that all was just epic. Your goal was instantly clear that if you wanted to get off of the planet, you would need to power down that quarantine enforcement platform. And with the depth clues that you got from there, you knew that you had to go deeper to solve the mystery. But here with Below Zero, you get the clue to go to Delta Island for your main quest. You might encounter the alien SOS, but you don't get a clear lead on where to go since the sound could be coming from anywhere. For only later do you get a true lead with the beacon being added to it. But you're here for your sister, so you go to Delta Island to see what you can find. And there all of a sudden you are randomly ambushed by Margaret Maida. A cool moment which raises questions for those who thought that she died in the first game, like me, but in no way did it truly solidify the game's story for me in the same way as the Aurora and Sunbeam explosions did. Now, obviously paths will diverge here for everyone. Some might have already gone to Alan to give him an Uber ride, while others go right after Margaret, only to perhaps bump against the fact that they might still not have a rebreather. Maybe I missed something, but is there truly only a single data box for that thing? Same with the high capacity O2 tank, and both of them are below 100 meters, which feels like a limit you don't want to cross unless you know what you're doing. And that is also ignoring the oxygen plants, but anyway, the main quest is figuring out what happened to your sister, right? So to Fire Robotics we go. We have got that whole land adventure with the Snow Fox and the Snow Stalkers, and if you pay attention you can also instantly find a cure before even laying eyes upon the frozen Leviathan. You cure it and turns out that what you thought was the main quest was in fact a mere side quest. What seems to be a completely missable side quest at that, for the main story is apparently all about Alan. Does he even say something, by the way, about the frozen Leviathan if you never visited it in the first place? Can you leave the planet without curing it? Or is there a case of complex quest lines here that get tangled up and thus might skip stages if you're unlucky or explore the wrong things at the wrong time? But what feels like a random side quest at first with the alien SOS and the small hints towards it from people like Lillian, all of a sudden turns out to be the main thing, not even being connected to Sam's story. And what about Margaret Maida? She's connected to Sam, but I'm getting the feeling that one can just completely avoid her and still finish the game as well. And even if you fully go after her towards the greenhouse, she just ends up staying inside of a sea base afterwards. Side quest over with your reward being something that makes the survival experience even easier than it already was, and some blueprints for constructing your own greenhouse and a bathroom. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of interesting storytelling going on here, and I love to figure things out and learn more about the architects. And the ending leaves a lot up to the imagination as to where the story might go next. But in the end, we're left with what feels like a main quest that turns out to be a missable side quest, a side quest that turns out to be the main quest, and Margaret Maida is there to visit if you feel like you've got time left in your busy personal schedule. The stuff is connected, but at the same time also highly disjointed, and I'm really not sure what to think of it. Again, I'm sorry if I'm being harsh on the game, but that only means that I care about it, and that these are just my current thoughts. If you have got a different opinion, I would love to hear it, for maybe I'm just looking at things from the wrong angle and with the wrong expectations. Now, where the overall structure of the story might not have been a great success for me, although the ending was pretty cool, there is obviously also the base building aspect of Subnautica. It was really cool in the first game to create your own home bases wherever you wanted. So with the second game in the series, things would obviously be even better, right? However, I'm unfortunately left with mixed feelings and small frustrations. The additions like the large room with its room partitions and some of the smaller decorational stuff were brilliant, and it was precisely the kind of stuff that I had hoped to see in a Subnautica sequel. I'd have liked to see even more decorational options, like perhaps some of the architect-related stuff, or the decorational things found inside of Margaret's sea base, but we at least got some extra additions. I do have to admit that I was hoping for some kind of item placement system for base building, so that if you wanted to place a tool on a table together with some titanium, you could move them around and then lock them in place. That would truly have been brilliant for decorating. But even though I right now am largely positive about the base building, I mentioned I had mixed feelings, and this has to do with some stuff that I just don't understand. Why were there so few plants with seeds that you could grow yourself? Both for the indoor plants and the ones for inside of the water. You even had the alien sanctuary, where we found Alan's skeleton, I think? There were several land-based decorational plants there from the first game, yet you can't get them. Why the hell not? We got marble melons and the lantern fruit from the first game, so why not give us the foxhole shrub, the mink plant, grub basket, speckled rattler? Why limit the decorational options so much all of a sudden for plants? I'm not sure how correct the information on the two Subnautica fandom pages is, but while we had 11 land-based plants and a whopping 25 sea-based plants that we could grow in the first game, 26 if we also count the ability to grow our very own brain coral, Below Zero only gives us a total of 7 land-based plants, of which 3 were from the previous game, and a mere 11 growable sea plants, of which basically 50% was from the first game. I don't know if the original Subnautica had all its seeds available at launch, or if they were added later, but I do seriously hope that some kind of future update adds more seeds to the game, and that they are missing because they have to rush Below Zero for release or something, because there are some pretty interesting plants available, but one can swim a really long distance in this game without finding anything harvestable. I never really played around with the seeds in the first game because I didn't know that so many things were growable. But now that I wanted to focus on using them to decorate in this game together with the aquariums, there barely are any seeds. I'm just left disappointed here, for I really had expected more. Now, I don't want to be all negative Nancy here, so let me finally address some quality of life improvements and other random tidbits which I liked quite a bit. For starters, the pinning of recipes. I still remember having to constantly check my PDA for the required items to make a computer chip in the first game when crafting, only to start doubting or get things wrong in the end. And that was with me having a very decent storage system to find what I was looking for. So, to have the ability to pin recipes to the HUD is brilliant. A really useful tool that I'm sure many will appreciate. Same goes for the options to highlight the interactables and the ability to pause the game while in the PDA. It may not be my kind of thing, but these are additions which surely will be useful for a lot of people, so good on the developers to add those accessibility options. Then the vehicles. I know a lot of people were upset with my choice to not use the Cyclops in the first game since they thought it was a brilliant part of the game, but I hope those people enjoyed the concept of the sea truck, for it seems like a very nice hybrid between the Seamoth and Cyclops. And it comes with a docking functionality. Probably because this map was smaller and more cramped they didn't add the Cyclops, but the sea truck in my eyes was a very good addition. I do kinda miss the whizzy sound that the Seamoth made compared to the constant low rumble of the truck and prawn suit. And meanwhile, the prawn suit got such an upgrade that I wonder whether or not the grappling hook is even required anymore. I still liked to use it, but the ease of movement has really improved for the prawn in general. The Snow Fox, in my eyes, could have used a bit more work since the prawn was just better most of the time. But a hover bike like that is a cool idea for the land-based sections. I just wish it was a bit easier to control, but at least you could put it in your inventory and thus take it everywhere. That was a nice feature of it. Except you can't take it on water, which is a shame. And the final thing I want to address, the fauna of Sector Zero. It's a bit sad that the peeper got an Arctic variant, and meanwhile the bladderfish, boomerang, hoopfish, and spinefish were still the same, but things like the spinnerfish, the symbiote, and the nudefish, and many others like the bright winged sea monkeys, titan hallfish, they were quite brilliant. Although the eye jellies didn't really do much, they were a beautiful sight to behold. And I am still of the opinion that the Cryptosuchus's roars better fitted on a Leviathan. But speaking of Leviathans, okay, let me get the negative out of the way first. What a bloody missed potential for the Frozen Leviathan! They had this brilliant model that truly looked epic, and I would have loved to see it in motion. Even if it was something as simple as, your PDA detects some seismic activity as you leave the glacial basin, and when you return, the creature is gone, having broken free from the ice. Or, if you truly want to have it as a living creature in the game where you can see it, put it in the void. Let it hunt the void chalicer or something. The fact that it remained a static model is just such a missed opportunity. But the other Leviathans, the Glow Whale, Vent Garden, Chalicerate, Shadow Leviathan and even the Squid Shark, they might not have been as scary as the Reaper Leviathan and its roar, with the knowledge that if you can hear it, the Reaper can see you. But I still love their designs. The ice worm might have been easy to avoid with a prawn suit, and going through the area a second time is a lot less terrifying, but I still loved how they looked, and the whole concept of the superheated horn just melting through the ice as it burrows, there were some really good designs. The water leviathans might have been less of an issue with the perimeter defense system of the sea truck, but even with that tool, I was still terrified to go past them. And just like with the leviathans from the first game, I will remain terrified of them. So overall, Subnautica Below Zero was a really fun experience. I've got my gripes and issues with it, and I really feel like the developers dropped the ball in some aspects, but it all comes from a place of love, since I really liked playing these two games. I'm curious to see where the story will go next, for will it still be Subnautica if we start exploring the remnants of the Architect home planet? Unless that place has its own underwater world with creatures that perhaps have adapted from Kara and thus have their own ecosystem and such. Or maybe we will get a prequel where we end up playing as Bart or Paul Torgal, the young one, and figure out what happened to him. The story can go in any direction here. Anyway, I've had fond memories of the adventures of the first game, and I will certainly remember this one as well. So, with all of that said, thank you all so much for joining me again, and I hope to see you stick around for all kinds of other adventures that still await. Have a very nice day, and as always, remember, have fun.